está finidata.
Alas, there is time for ruminating.
Hello, this is Lee the History Boy, and before we get on with, you've seen the intro to this, so this is another joint episode of Knights of the Debate Table and Ruminations. So this was originally I was contemplating doing another vocal test for like another guest character kind of fan kind of idea, where I was going to do a kind of a voice collection vocal test of Chucky from Child's Play, but you take into account that 92% of his vocabulary is, swearing. I do want to, at some point, possibly get an income on by being a YouTuber, but it's a hobby, and but all the same, it's not mutually exclusive. Whatever that little strange saying is. But possibly, maybe it'll take longer in my case. I'm sort of bothered and not bothered at the same time. But the swearing thing, I already kind of pushed it a little bit, I suppose. If you want to go by related series of videos, the vocal test I did of Kano. I still have to work out whatever, how to actually, bleep out my voice. But it's good that when you turn it on silent, the automatic subtitles come up. That it does actually, get rid of the profanity. And like with Kano, in comparison with Kano and Chucky, they have they have sewer mouths basically. It's instead this is kind of like a tangentially related. I learned tangentially off a overlooked original BBC series of Being Human, which I also covered on my first House of Faves episode about vampires. Spoiler alert, I suppose. Maybe a little bit. But yeah, this one. Yeah, and this one is about the guest characters, because I did 2 guest characters ideas for possible Mortal Kombat 2, at least Mortal Kombat 2, because it's still early days. NetherRealm are probably either just sort of thinking about developing it, or they haven't started yet. I don't really know about the executive side of it, seeing as they've put more time, I guess, in Warner. But I think NetherRealm and Warner Brothers are they're part of the same thing. They're like one of the gaming offshoots of Warner Brothers. So then they did the series like the the Mortal Kombat Legends series with Scorpion and then Liu Kang, and they did like a trilogy almost. One about Johnny Cage, which I can't remember the name of, and then of course the live action films with Cole Young, and 500-year-old Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Which I think that was actually a good twist on Scorpion, I think. As much as I'm not really a fan of the Conquest series, it was sort of almost like a little nod to the original Scorpion, where, you know, he was living 500 years before the, you know, the mortal, before the games. And then, of course, there was the ancestor of the Sub-Zero, one of the ancestors of the Sub-Zero brothers in that, and Sub-Zero was just subs, yeah, kind of living at the same time as Mortal Kombat movie one, Warner Brothers, Hanzo Asashi, who was Cole Younger's ancestor. So I kind of like that idea. And then the second one, spoiler alert, of course, Sub-Zero comes back as Noob. For you know, those of you who are here who are, you know, really into the Mortal Kombat lore, and also the different timelines, I suppose. Which is, I think it should stay unique to this series. Soul Calibur kind of did it in number 6, and I wasn't really too much of a fan. It's not exactly incursion stuff like Mortal Kombat 1 and 2, I guess, or just 1 so far. But yeah, I wasn't really too much of a fan. So I think we should just keep it exclusively to the Mortal Kombat series. It should be like a unique thing. Yeah. Guest characters. Well, seeing as I mentioned that I was thinking about doing a vocal test about Chucky, and this applies to Mortal Kombat 2, 3, whatever, like theoretical sequels to, or you know, of the new era timeline of games. I mean, yeah, I did one of Proximus Caesar and a young Erden for guest characters for the you know, theoretical guest characters for the next game or the one after. So yeah, I've always wanted to see Chucky in a Mortal Kombat game. Actually, I was thinking maybe, speaking of Soul Calibur, maybe that he could be in Soul Calibur. They'd have to kind of turn him down. But speaking of Soul Calibur, seeing as Yoda was a guest character in 4, I imagine he'd be like kind of. It'd be sort of like how Yoda works in Soul Calibur 4, but also the reach and the having to kind of adapt to his height and stuff like that. He'd sort of almost like be like Gon in Tekken 3, and he was the Tekken series' very first guest character because he's from a Japanese manga called Gon, he's like a little dinosaur living on an island causing mischief and so on and so forth. It was quite fun to play as. Oh yeah, Soul Calibur 2 on the GameCube had Link, and he wasn't like knee high, but he was notably shorter than most of the other characters, especially like Ivy, who for some reason, even in 1590 something, is like a 6'1" woman, which is quite funny if you fight against her. And I mean, she even towers over her father, Cervantes, or Cervantes, whatever you pronounce it, like the Spanish possessed pirate. But you could do really like cheeky stuff, like throw boomerangs and bombs, quite fun to play as. And he was quite easy if you got the hang of him. The destined character of all the guest characters, destined battle was always Raphael, the musketeer type character. You know, if you know Soul Calibur lore. He was quite easy to fight Raphael with, because Raphael's, a lot of his attacks relied on high kind of counter strikes, and he was quite lanky and tall as well. He could quite evade some of quite a few of his deadly techniques if you kind of have a look at, or you practice a lot with Link, which I kind of did when I were a kid. Yeah, Chucky, and then who else? Yeah, seeing as we've had Predator and Alien, but mostly this is about Predator, the Predator related things. Seeing as we had Predator in Mortal Kombat X, I was thinking, first off, I mean, this is an open kind of debate until I do kind of live episodes, but then again I won't be able to kind of upload the image montage, at least I don't think so. Anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, as Peter Griffin says. Would you like to see, and this is kind of inspired because I was listening to the Prey soundtrack as well, and I thought I might give Prey a go sometime based on KBZ or Z's, don't know what your nationality, collection of creepiest scenes in 2020s films. I might put in them as a like a mentioned reference in the description. I really enjoyed the scene I've probably invested in so far with the feral predator punching a fucking grizzly bear to death. Oh, I swore. Anyway, yeah, too late to turn back, I guess, because I could kind of edit my voice in there, but I'll have to kind of continue my editing skills or work out a way to bleed voices. Anywho, just overlook that little F and Jeff there. Or would you rather see the main girl, Naru? Or would you like to see Birth? I'm thinking would Birth fit in there? I suppose Birth would kind of be more relevant because they end up being adversaries to the entire film. Maybe the guest rivalry thing would be like a dialogue thing. Yeah, but even though the feral predator would just roar because they don't really speak. Well, they do, but not in battle. The Yautja. Thoughts on Naru and or the feral predator from Prey. Also, who should I do next? Yeah, Taka from the underrated Far Cry Primal. Do you think he'd fit in there? I don't think he doesn't have qualms about killing people. He's from very late Neolithic in I think it's supposed to be anywhere from Bulgaria to Romania to Hungary. The land is called Oros, which is supposed to be, it's supposed to be Central Europe / Eurasia. It's kind of nondescript because why wouldn't it be? This is like 12,000 years ago, so places need to change all the time, etc. etc. Speaking of etc. And this is kind of part of the title. How am I going to title this? Do you think? And this was kind of an idea that kind of came up. Some of these are kind of semi-random, like I said. The first guest character kind of vocal test I did was Proximus Caesar, and I think weirdly enough he would fit in Mortal Kombat's kind of style, but maybe Kevin Wendell Crumb / the Horde / the Beast, less so, maybe. That's where maybe he could fit maybe a little bit. I'm thinking how would he fit with the like the styles thing, because the Beast personality is the one who fights the most. He's the one who murders and eats people. I'm not sure if yeah, I'm not sure. I can't remember if any of the other personalities fight actually. Dennis, maybe? Can't remember. And also, yeah, and seen as people have made fan kind of Mugen games of Killer Instinct versus Mortal Kombat. I think one of the two. I've got two characters in mind that would probably have no qualms about killing people. One more so, and they're kind of related as well. Fulgor being the one being his brother, and that's Chief Thunder, also known as Hinematum, which is also the name of his theme in the Xbox One. Killer Instinct, but yeah, and also Fulgor, yeah. So again, this is an open thing. Where would you rather see Killer Instinct characters between two? Would you rather see Chief Thunder, provided that Nightwolf doesn't make some kind of a comeback anytime soon? Or would you rather see Fulgor, which is kind of a bit like, he's a cyborg, kind of like, Sector and Cyrex. Even though the current timeline ones aren't cyborgs now, they're basically just iron women. Discounting the cameo versions of them where they're the originals. And also, thinking about it, Turok, or Joseph Turok, or Joseph Fireseed, which I found out his name today, his original name. Turok's like a passed down kind of mantle thing, kind of like Sub-Zero, really, in a way. I think he kind of fit in there. Cycling back to Far Cry. I was thinking, and this this can be up for debate as well. Hence the title of this series, Vas Montenegro or Montenegro. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I don't really play the games. I played a bit of Primal, and whichever one is the one where you burn down somebody's marijuana field while Ziggy Marley plays in the background. That's pretty funny. That might be the one with Vass. Actually, I can't remember. It's been quite a while since I sort of borrowed it from a friend and then gave it back. I suppose Vass could probably fit into the Mortal Kombat world, as could Taka, and also this is again because I've been listening to certain soundtracks and looking at certain clips, such as the unsettling episode Plague of Madness. Possibly, do you think? Because he'd have to kind of be animated in the Mortal Kombat styles. I wonder how he'd translate. Maybe not so well, but another idea. Before I get to the final one, maybe Spear from Primal. I wonder how he'd he'd fit into the Mortal Kombat verse. Maybe he wouldn't. Maybe it was just a passing idea. But one that's been on my mind longer than Chucky is Judge Dredd. And also, you know, it's like a little, maybe a reference to, maybe a little nod to Rambo in Mortal Kombat 11. Would you like to hear Sylvester Stallone doing his voice, or would you like to hear Carl Urban doing his voice? And actually, Carl Urban doing the voice would be kind of funny, since we've had Homelander as a guest character in Mortal Kombat 1. I don't know if Homelander's actor actually does the voice. Maybe it's just an impression of it, but also, yeah, maybe someone doing like a Carl Urban Dredd impression with his kind of gravelly voice, low voice. I imagine he'd fit really well into the Mortal Kombat verse, as did RoboCop, and I think they actually got Paul Weller to reprise the voice, unless it was just a really good impression, like the guy who did Darth Vader's voice in not Mortal Kombat, Soul Calibur 4 and Yoda in the same game, the Xbox version. The PS3 version had Darth Vader, but they were both voiced by the same guy, an impressionist who did you know, an impression of James Earl Jones and Frank Oz, respectively. Oh yeah, I forgot. Well, I remember just as I was waffling on about John Rambo and Dredd. That isn't in the last one. The last one is Dutch Schaefer being the Predator. You know, Predator and Prey. And it's, you know, and this is like a little cheeky, I guess, kind of universe nod or resemblance, uncanny resemblance thing of, you know, the Terminator looking exactly like Dutch Schaefer. So yeah, I was thinking. Speaking of, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, I was thinking maybe Commando before that, but I thought no. Seeing as I was going to mention Predator verse things, or it's, you know, Alien versus Predator verse things, or whatever you want to put the collective whatever the series interconnected series down. If you get the gist, I think maybe. Seems we've had, you know, Stallone as reprising John Rambo in one way or another, the voice. And I think, did Arnold Schwarzenegger return to do the voice of the Terminator in Mortal Kombat 11? I think he did, yeah. Because Stallone did for Rambo. And then we have, I'm just remembering now, in Mortal Kombat 1, we had Robert Patrick, of all people, doing the voice of the T-1000. So yeah, maybe, you know, they can be bothered, asked, whatever. I don't think asked is that much of a swear word internationally, so, you know, sod it, as they say. But would you like to see Dutch in either the next Mortal Kombat game or the one after that, and so on and so forth? Yeah, so yeah, this has been kind of a long one. So remember to, you know, like, subscribe, comment. I look forward to your views and your viewpoints. Yeah, cheers to that. To last time I checked, that one viewer who watched my my index video. Might as well put that in the description too. I'll put the voice, the vocal test for Kano in there, as well as Odin and Proximus Caesar. Yeah, that's about it. But yeah, yeah, that's all for now, and see you soon for the next video that I do. Those of you who are, you know, it depends on what's popular, most popular, and what's least popular on my channel. But you know, views are views. So I'll stop waffling on and get to whatever doing this.